Good day. We are students of UMI MBA 29, Group 7. Welcome to our presentation on the Kampala Integrated Waste-to-Energy Project, an innovative public-private partnership that turns a waste crisis into energy opportunity. Public-private partnerships are long-term contracts between public and private sector for the development and management of public assets or services in which the private agent bears the risks and management responsibilities throughout the contract life. Payment depends on performance and demand of the asset or service. PPP is an alternative means of procurement of the capital-intensive infrastructure projects that rely on private sector finance. This can be in form of new infrastructure or upgrading existing ones. The main objectives of PPPs are to leverage private sector expertise and resources, improve efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery, share risks and costs, and to enhance innovation and technology transfer. Forms of public-private partnerships include build, operate, transfer, build, own, operate, and transfer, design, build, finance, and operate, as well as management contracts and concessions. Examples of public-private partnerships in Uganda that demonstrate Uganda's effort to leverage PPPs for infrastructure development and service delivery include the Kampala Serena Hotel, which is a 30-year concession agreement between Uganda Investment Authority and Serena Hotels, the Kampala Entebbe Expressway, a PPP project between Uganda National Road Authority and private consortium, as well as the National Water and Sewerage Corporation partnerships with private operators for water supply and sanitation services in various towns. The Kampala Integrated Waste-to-Energy Project is a major infrastructure initiative proposed under a public-private partnership arrangement. The project seeks to address Kampala's growing solid waste management crisis by converting municipal waste into renewable energy through a design, build, finance, operate, and maintain model. It will be located in Kitezi, in Wakiso district, adjacent to the existing landfill managed by KCCA. The Kampala currently produces over 2,000 tons of solid waste daily, of which less than half is properly collected and disposed of. The existing Kitezi landfill is full and poses serious environmental and health risks and public health risks. This project will process about 1,200 tons of waste per day and generate approximately 25 megawatts of electricity, which will be supplied to the national grid through the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited. The project is estimated to cost $150 million and it will operate for 25 years under a concession agreement. Revenue generation will rely on a hybrid structure. Electricity sales will contribute about 55% of the income, KCCA tipping fees about 35%, and compost and recyclables roughly 10%. The project land, which is approximately 12 hectares, is already owned by KCCA, requiring only limited resettlement of a few peri-urban households. The projected financial return is strong, with a base case internal rate of return of 15%, an economic IRR of 18%, while the value for money analysis stands at 55%, comfortably above the minimum public-private partnership threshold for Uganda. The project will significantly improve Kampala's waste infrastructure while contributing to Uganda's renewable energy mix and green growth agenda. I now call upon the next presenter to take us through the strategic suitability.
Joshua, I think you're the next discussant.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Yes, we
evening.
are looking at strategic suitability as the next item. We are saying that Kiwep is a free align with Uganda's national development priorities. It supports objectives laid out in National Development Plan (NDP 3), the Kampala Solid Waste Management Strategy 2020-2030, and Renewable Energy Policy 2007. By combining modern waste processing with clean energy production, the project advances both environmental sustainability and energy diversification. The existing service gap in waste management have overwhelmed current collection and disposed system. The city's mainland landfill Chitezi is beyond its design capacity, while uncontrolled dumping has become widespread. Kiwep directly responds to the deficiencies by providing a sustainable, technological based waste management solution that will reduce the volume of waste going to landfills and generate renewable energy in the process. Alternative options such as land expansion, uh, composting, and aerobic digestion were considered. However, feasibility studies identified waste energy as the most sustainable and cost-effective model for Kampala's context. The project overcomes other outcomes include improved sanitation, 25 megawatt renewable energy or electricity, reduced generation of the greenhouse emission, and long-term environmental protection are clearly measurable and verifiable. Before the project actually kicks off, there is always feasibility studies done, and therefore, in this case, we're looking at preliminary feasibility, which takes different forms, and I'm going to be discussing economic and financial feasibility in this case. Economic projections, in this case, are based on credible historical data from Capital City Authority, KCCA, National Environmental Authority, NEMA, and Electricity Regulatory Authority. We are saying the project is financially sound, as evidenced by an NPV of 12%, and which is positive. Project IR of 15, because we all know that for public entities, at least IR should be 10% and above. So for our project, it would be 15%, which is okay, and a debt to equity ratio of 70 to 30. The cost of debt is estimated to be at 8 to 9%, and cost of equity 14-16%. And this is in alignment with regional infrastructure projects. Therefore, overall, Kiwep or Kampala Integrated Waste project energy project feasibility demonstrates a strong economic case and financial suitability or sustainability over its 25-year lifespan. And as we go along, we are saying that we shall need some data as far as this project is concerned to come up with our economic feasibility, and therefore we shall compute IR for the PPP, and we shall use both financial and cash flow data or timelines. And here we shall consider IRR that makes NPV equal to 0. And the kind of data required shall include total project capital cost or CapEx, construction period and spending schedule, development and all financing costs. On the side of operating cash flow or inflows, we shall of course look at the inflows in the entire period or in a year, which are annual project revenues. And this shall include fees, sales, or government availability payments. We shall also look at secondary incomes. These are not necessarily the primary ones, and this shall include sales of recycles and service charges. Again, we shall look at operating cash outflows because we are looking at incomes and costs. So we shall look at annual operating and maintenance services or expenses, administrative labor and maintenance costs. Since you are in a working regulatory environment, we shall look at taxes and other recurring obligations, project timelines, because we have seen it is going to be a 25-year project. Therefore, we shall look at the duration of construction and by year schedules of cash inflows and outflows. And like I said, we shall look at IRR using the formula as indicated there. I think even if I don't go through it, it is clear on how we shall be computing the IR. So I think at this point, I hand over to my next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, all the prior discussant. Thank you so much. So I'm now continuing with the preliminary feasibility, and I'm talking about the stress case scenario. For the stress case scenario, this normally involves just assuming situations of limited resources and the let's say finances and all that. So this is to evaluate the financial resiliency of the Kampala Integrated Waste to Energy Project, which we call Kiwep. Several stress case scenarios are developed to test how the project performs under less favorable conditions. And such conditions might include reduced waste supply and plant performance. Here we assume lower waste volumes or reduced plant capacity utilization, leading to decreased energy generation and tipping revenues. Lower tariffs and revenue stress. This assumes a drop in electricity tariffs and tipping fees, as well as possible delays in tariff indexation or government payments, resulting in reduced cash flows. Capital cost overrun and construction delays. This assumes higher construction costs and delayed completion dates, causing increased investment requirements and postponed revenue generations. We also we assume a higher operation and maintenance costs, O&M. Here we assume a rise in maintenance and operation expenses due to high input, fuel, labor costs, which compresses profit margins of the project. So we also go ahead and look at exchange rate and macroeconomic risks. Here we assume situations of depreciation, which leads to loss of value of the local currency and inflationary pressure that increases the cost of imported equipment and materials, and of course, eventually reducing the project returns. Combined severe but credible case. Combined, of course, this one combines all the above. And this applies moderate shocks from all the above factors simultaneously, including slightly higher capex, delayed commissioning, lower tariffs, reduced plant utilization, and increased O&M costs to test whether the project internal rate of return remains above the minimum acceptable threshold. We also want to look at the technical and environmental feasibility. So the project is built on proven incineration and heat recovery technology, successfully used in cities with similar climate and waste characteristics. For example, the Chitezi site is very suitable for both technical and environmental. We have the access roads and the grid connectivity, which are already available, and Uganda has sufficient engineering and construction expertise to support project delivery. Also, environmentally and socially, we have environmental and social impact assessment, or ESIA, have been completed and approved by NEMA. The project is expected to significantly cut methane emissions and improve air quality, making it net carbon negative. Its design incorporates resiliency, measures against climate risks, such as flooding and temperature variation, ensuring please pull up again slightly. Okay. Shh. Okay, so sorry, I can hardly see the next facilities. The facilities longevity. Thank you. I can now go to the next discussion.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's look at social feasibility as one of the preliminary feasibility study that should be undertaken under this project. Now, this project is socially feasible in the sense that community engagement has been an integral part of project preparation. Consultations with local leaders, households, and waste picker groups show broad community support due to the anticipated benefits such as improved sanitation, job creation, and reduced health hazards. Only a small section of households living adjacent to the project site will be affected. The project plans to relocate them, and compensation will be given guided by the KCCS resettlement policy framework as a mitigation measure. Now, under climate change and resilience profile, the Kampala Integrated Waste to Energy Project supports Uganda's climate goals by turning municipal waste into renewable energy, reducing methane emissions from landfills, and cutting overall greenhouse gas emissions. It is designed to be carbon negative, meaning that it will prevent more emissions than it produces. The facility's modern systems will control air pollution, improve waste management, and create a cleaner and healthier surroundings for city residents. In addition to mitigating climate change, the project strengthens Kampala's resilience by maintaining waste and energy services, even during extreme weather events. It also encourages job creation in waste handling, recycling, and energy production, while promoting a circular economy through the reuse of byproducts. Overall, the project provides a clear environmental, social, and economic benefits that make it a strong example of climate-smart urban infrastructure. This climate and resilience co-benefits reinforce the project's alignment with Uganda's NDC commitments and sustainable development goals, particularly goals 7, 11, and 13. Over to the next presenter.
Thank you. Risk assessment. A detailed risk analysis indicates that most project risks are well understood and can be appropriately managed by the PPP structures. The land for Kiwep is owned publicly and it has no ownership disputes. Then the private company will handle most of the design, construction, and operation risks, meaning they must make sure the project is built properly and it runs well. Then KCCA focuses on making and enforcing policies, not mainly on construction itself. Key financial and market risks will be shared between the two parties through clearly defined and contractual agreements. Hybrid revenue streams comprising electricity sales and tipping fees ensure predictable cash flow. Political and regulatory risks are low due to Uganda's established PPP legal framework and the government's commitment to infrastructure modernization. Environment and social risks will be managed through the approved environmental management plan, and all the mitigation costs are built into a financial model. Foreign exchange risks will be mitigated through hedging arrangements and the meager backup guarantees. While force majeure and termination risks will be covered under the PPP Act. Overall, the risk profile is rated low and moderate, with mitigation mechanisms that are practical, enforceable, and well understood by all parties. PPP sustainability. The Kiwep project meets every major criterion for PPP implementation. Its technical complexity, scale, and multi-sectoral nature makes it an ideal candidate for private participation. The PPP model will integrate design, financing, construction, and operation under one accountable private partner, which will improve efficiency and ensuring better value for money throughout the project life cycle. And the value for money analysis confirms that the PPP option outperforms the traditional public procurement by 55%. Private sector innovation, performance-linked payments, and life cycle maintenance creates cost saving and enhance service quality. Market surrounding shows strong investor interest. Several reputable international firms, including Veolia, Suez, and China Everbright, have expressed interest in similar projects across Africa. The project also qualifies for climate finance and multilateral support from AFDB and World Bank and EU Green Cities Facility. Given its hybrid revenue model and a strong market appetite, Kiwep is considered highly suitable for PPP delivery with a contract duration of 25 years and a solid foundation for competitive procurement. Then the next presenter can come for the next part.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's look at fiscal risk and contingent liability assessment. See that the government in this project is private payments and limited viability. Yes, we see that the physical pressure exposure is well within the limits defined by guidelines below 2% of GDP. Then we see that PMB by CS medium-term expenditure framework ensuring predictability and control. Then we see that the Ministry of Finance will oversee fiscal monitoring through the PPP unit, supported by periodic reviews and fiscal risk assessment. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide. Yes, here we look at the institutional capacity and project readiness. Institutional capacity supported by a dedicated PPP focal point within the Directorate of Engineering and Technical Services and the technical coordinations with the PP unit. Here we see that the authority has prior experience implementing large infrastructure and waste management projects, and its staff have received PPP related training. Then also the detailed project roadmap outlines the next steps completion for full feasibility studies, transaction structuring, and competitive procurement. Then we see that KCCA maintains close coordination with key regulators such as NEMA, IRA, then the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, then also independent engineers, then environmental auditors, financial advisors will oversee construction and the operations. Then KCCA also applies a strong transparency and publishing quarterly project performance report public review. Yes, at this moment, presenter.
Thank
Yes,
you
let
to
me call
thank,
our next presenter who is going to give us a conclusion.
thank you, Tim, for your presentation. Our overall screening conclusion is that our project is both technically feasible and economically justified. It directly addresses a critical urban service deficiency while promoting renewable energy, environmental sustainability, and local employment. The project's design, risk structure, and financing plan comply with Uganda's PPP Act and Ministry of Finance and Planning and Economic Development guidelines, and its fiscal implications are modest and well managed. With a composite score of 9.3 out of 10, the project is rated highly suitable for PPP implementation. It should proceed to the detailed feasibility and transaction structuring stage under the supervision of the PPP Committee and Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development PPP unit. The project's success would represent a transformative step toward modern waste management and sustainable urban development in Kampala. Thank you for watching. We look forward to your continued engagement as we turn waste into what and challenges into opportunities for sustainable growth. That is it from our Group 7.